sports fans. Welcome to another episode of SportsBeat TV. I'm your host, Laura Welsh, and with me is the voice of Oregon SportsBeat, Dave Hall.
Thanks, Laura, and we've got a great show lined up. Tonight we're going to be joined by Jose Campos, who's with the Oregon Youth Soccer Federation. We're also going to be joined by Roberto Farfan and some of his players who won the
09's nationals.
The Futsal Championship, the World Championship Futsal, the 09, and 09 is referring to the birth year of the players. So those were 9-year-olds who won that championship. But Jose Campos, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
And tell us a little bit about your background. I know you have a background in both soccer and in futsal, and you've kind of combined those nowadays.
I did. I grew up in Spain. I played both futsal and soccer in Spain, mostly futsal when I was younger, when I was little. And then I moved to outdoors, to soccer. And since I graduated from school, I went all over the place, coaching and working in this beautiful sport. And that's the beauty of soccer, that it's so worldwide that I can work and be anywhere. So I went to England, China, the East Coast of the United States, and now the West Coast. Right now I'm the league manager for Oregon Youth Soccer, which is the state association, and I run the leagues, State Cup, President's Cup, Founders Cup, which is 3 tournaments that we do at the end of the season. And since we started doing futsal, I'm the league and the manager of futsal development for the state association. So I'm trying to grow this beautiful sport in the state of Oregon.
For people that aren't familiar with futsal, and we've done a number of shows here on Oregon SportsBeat about futsal. We're in the futsal facility right now.
If you can hear that.
It's pretty loud, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the differences and the similarities of futsal and soccer.
Well, the first difference, that's pretty obvious, is less players on the field. We play 5v5, and it's a very, obviously, reduced space. So while in outdoors you may participate on a play once every 5-6 minutes, in futsal you're constantly touching the ball. You're constantly defending, attacking, defending the player with the ball, attacking the ball. So there is no way for you that you don't participate.
I like that. I call futsal sometimes, it looks like soccer on a basketball court.
It is.
And
it really is.
And some people think, well, this must be a new sport. This is a sport that's been around 80, 90 years.
It started in Uruguay in 1930. So yeah, futsal comes from football de salon. So basically indoor soccer, but without walls. So yeah, that's how it started. It's been around for a long, long time, and the most successful countries in futsal are Brazil, Spain, and Argentina, which, casually or not, are also one of the three of the best countries in soccer as well. So there has to be a relationship there for sure.
Are the skills between futsal and soccer, are they similar?
They are very similar. A futsal player is more comfortable on small spaces and under pressure because it's a smaller space. And in futsal you always have pressure of the defender. So that's what makes a futsal player very good. And they're probably technically a little bit better in terms of you really need a good first touch, because if your first touch is not good enough, players are so close to you that someone will win the ball away from you. So there are tons of technical difference, but there are not that many, and that's why most of the summer players play both, because you can translate your skills from one sport to the other.
Well, you were saying off camera that you really think this helps with children and how they develop in their playing, because they can't hide, as you were saying.
Yeah, so what I was saying before, you play 11-11, you may don't touch the ball in a few minutes. In futsal, there is no chance that you don't touch the ball every 30 seconds to a minute, because there's only 4 players plus the goalie, so you're always involved. And for me, I believe futsal is great for the little ones because the surface and the weighted ball make it very simple to practice things that are pretty basic, like passing or shooting or dribbling. So imagine this comparative situation. You may play outdoors in a place that is raining with very long grass and maybe a bumpy field, or in a hardcore weighted ball that it makes it very simple for you to start having your first touches on the ball. and dribbling and passing. So in outdoors, well, not in outdoors, like in soccer, if you don't play in the right field, you may need all your power, all your strength to make a 5-yard pass. But in futsal, just a little touch, the ball will go there. So you can work on technical skills like, hey, let's lock the ankle to pass the ball. In futsal, easier than in soccer unless you're in the right place.
Well, you mentioned that you're involved both in Oregon youth soccer and you're also involved in futsal. How did you get involved in both of those activities at the same time?
We the state association believe that futsal is good for player development. So what we did was we took over the futsal league that it used to be, and that's why I got involved with futsal. So I started coaching actually here in Rose City, and that's how the conversation started. Like, hey guys, you have a great league that's been around for 2 or 3 years. Why don't we run it for you? Why don't we do exactly the same league that you guys are doing, but we provide, or what we do the best, which is running league. So we're basically running the same league that they used to run, but now we provide insurance for the players. We pay the referee online instead of cash as they used to pay. We develop referees. We work on coaching development for not just the Rose City futsal coaches, but every single coach in the state. So that's our goal now: create better coaches, better referees, and grow the sport so more kids have access to play.
What is the plan for the future with futsal and soccer here in Portland?
In Portland, we ideally will try to grow this league in these three facilities that we have a partnership with. In the rest of Oregon, we will try to replicate this model and do the same thing in Salem, in Northport, in Eugene. And in soccer, nothing is changing drastically. We still have the same leagues. We have the same clubs. So I would say soccer doesn't have that much changes as we speak right now.
You mentioned you're from Spain. How easily has it been to work with American children who are involved in futsal and soccer? What's the future of those two sports in the United States?
I must say that it has been very, very easy, and it's because part of American culture, the coach, we respect the coach a lot. So the coach is a figure for the kids like a professor. So every American kid that I have coached have respected me from day one, pretty much even without me gaining it. In Spain, the first thing you have to do is you have to prove yourself that you care about the kids, that you do care about them, so they respect you. Here, they respect you immediately, which is great. But you are also try to gain them, but they do respect you. So it's very easy to work with them. And the future of those kids, I believe the U.S. are the best in pretty much any sport but soccer. You guys are the best in basketball, baseball, American football, obviously. You are the country with more gold medals at the Olympics. So as soon as you put your athletes and your knowledge in other sports in practice into soccer and futsal, you will get that. It's not gonna happen in a year or two, but it will get there. It will definitely work.
Obviously, the United States did not make the World Cup this team. That had to be a disappointment to people that thought they were going to get a boost from the U.S. playing in the World Cup, and they didn't. The other thing that I've noticed is that there is certainly an explosion of elite soccer camps. The tendency to take the very best players and put them on elite teams and send them to elite camps, which kind of, you don't see those players playing in high school anymore. They're playing on elite teams.
Yeah, well, it's part of one of the, we have different leagues in the state and in the Pacific Northwest, and through the federation, every MLS team has to have a DA academy, a developmental academy. Players who play in the developmental academy, which is elite, they are not allowed to play high school. So they can only play in the DA. Therefore, you will not see these kids in high school. That doesn't mean that the quality of the high school players are not good enough, because there is only one DA from an MLS team, the Timbers, and then we have 8 clubs in Oregon, I believe, who also have a DA academy. So yes, they take some of the best talent, but there's still talent in there. Not because a kid has made to the DA means he's going to make it to pro or even college. And not because you're not on the DA at the age of 13 or 15 doesn't make you don't have a long, successful career in soccer. Kids develop in a different ways, and some may get better faster, some grow later. So there is hope for everyone as long as you keep training, playing hard, and trying.
You're a licensed coach, both in futsal and in soccer. Where do those licenses come from? Who issues those?
The United States, the U.S. Soccer Federation. I took my license here, and I'm working through the pathway, the license pathway in both soccer and futsal. And that's something that we do in the state association. We run and provide the licenses for the coaches. So it's very easy access for me to take those when I have the chance.
Are there many differences between the licensing of futsal and soccer?
Yeah, the futsal license just started, and there is not through the federation, it's through a different organization, which is United Soccer Coaches. And there is only a level 1, the last time I checked it was only a level 1 available. So futsal is a newborn in the US, therefore licenses are at the same level. We only have 1 license available. It's a 4-hour course, and it's good enough for every coach that wants to coach futsal because it gives you the basics in terms of like rules and specific technique that you will use in futsal.
Great.
So in the future, people who want to get more involved in futsal or want to get involved in Oregon Youth Soccer Federation, what do they do? Where do they go?
Well, if you want to be involved with us, you have to be registered through one of our 90 clubs. So we don't really deal with kids directly, we deal with the clubs. We help the clubs, and they help to develop the kids. So if you want to play soccer, I would just recommend finding a local club in your area. So you can go into our website, type your zip code, and that will give you the 2, 3, 4 local clubs in your area. Talk to them, see which one you like the most, and play for them. And that's how you are registered with the federation. For futsal, same thing. There is not that many clubs running futsal academies. So in futsal, we're giving the teams the option to just pick some friends and register through us if they want to. We would like to see them register through a club, because one more time, we work with the clubs work with the kids. But just because our clubs are not there yet, not all of them, because newborn, we help them to facilitate the registration.
Well, that's all. Thank you for sharing all of that information. I think we have to take a break now, and then we'll bring out our next guest, and you'll be sticking around for that.
I'm sticking around as long as you want me to.
All right, we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Did you talk to
welcome back. We've got our next guest here, Roberto Farfan.
Roberto, thanks for joining us tonight. We just got through talking with Jose Campos a little bit about futsal and a little bit about the Oregon Youth Soccer Federation. Tell us a little bit about your background.
First off, thank you for having us. Native of Portland, deep southeast Portland, almost hitting Gresham.
Me too.
Grew up playing soccer my whole life. Unfortunately, there was not a lot of futsal around when I was growing up, but I had the opportunity to live in Mexico City for periods of my youth, where I played a lot of street soccer, alleyways, small-sided games on concrete courts. So got to experience that, and then grew up in the youth system in Portland through clubs and ODP.
You know, the soccer and futsal are some of those games that you don't need a whole lot of equipment to play them.
No, all you need is a ball and a friend.
Yeah.
As opposed to, American sports where you need a lot of equipment, and sometimes that equipment can get pretty expensive.
Yeah, it can.
So tell us a little bit about your playing experience.
Playing, so like I said, I started out in the recreational levels here in Oregon. I think it was called Rockwood. But then moved down to Mexico City for a year and got a little bit taste of what more competitive soccer was. Came back. My family wasn't very familiar with how the system worked here. First generation American, and slowly we found out about competitive club soccer. I joined Eastside United, then had the opportunity to play for Westside, and came back to Eastside. Then at the time, ODP made the top 18 for Oregon for the 1990s. Through there, made it to the regional team, which is a Region 4 team, top 18 players in the West.
You played college soccer at UNLV and at Oregon State.
Yeah, so thanks to ODP, I got to travel to Italy, to Argentina to compete against the top youth systems there. Fortunately, the UNLV coach was my head coach for ODP, and he liked the way I played, and I had the opportunity to go there. But after a year, I thought it was a good idea to come back home, and I finished out my college career at Oregon State.
I think I'm sitting next to royalty. I looked at the information you sent us, and you were talking about your youth soccer playing days, and some of the teams you played against in Europe, the youth teams you played against. You listed Real Madrid, Juventus.
Yeah.
Let's see, some of the other teams that I recognized right off were Santos, the Brazil team,
Yeah, Santos from
the
Brazil.
Boca Juniors from Argentina.
Juniors, yeah.
You've got, that's a pretty impressive list of teams that you played against.
Yeah, I was very fortunate, to be earn and be given that opportunity to play against those top teams. Great learning experience for sure.
I know a couple of years ago, the Boca Juniors came up here and played the Timbers, I think, in an exhibition match.
Yeah, a few years ago they came.
Okay, and so after your playing days, you worked your way into coaching.
Yeah, so I figured, unfortunately, it didn't span out for me, but I still wanted to be part of the sport. It took me a while to figure out how that would be, but eventually I slowly started getting into the coaching world, and I found a new passion, teaching the young ones how to play, but more than just learning the game, loving it and benefiting it from other ways, making friendships, being part of the community.
Did you have a preference playing, coaching soccer versus futsal?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I love futsal because there's more action. Very exciting, but part of me still loves soccer. So there's certain things that you can do in a futsal court that you can't do in outdoor, and vice versa. Some things you can do outdoor, but you can't do in futsal. So I appreciate both.
That's good, yeah.
What's the pathway to becoming a youth futsal coach?
Youth futsal coach. So futsal is very young in the States. You look at countries like Spain. I'm sure Jose already talked to you a lot about it. There's a established structure there. How do you become a coach? Level 1, level 2, level 3. Futsal in the U.S. is still very young. We don't have a professional league yet. I think there's a few competitive leagues around for adults. We have scattered tournaments, competitive tournaments here for the youth as well. So the path is, I think we're still working on it. But I think right now what we've been trying to do is, bring in top level coaches from Europe. We have had Xavi Closas from FC Barcelona's B team. He's done clinics here, and he's run our coaches through clinics. We've had Marco Schindler, another top coach from Italy, who did a clinic for us recently. And another big one is Andres Sanz from Atletico Madrid Futsal. Came and very well-renowned futsal coach. Has done multiple international courses, and we've had the luck to bring him over here and learn from him.
You've had success too with your teams.
Yes.
Tell us about some of the successes you've had.
Well, it all starts with the people you work with. We've had a great coaching staff, very good families have come into our programs, great kids. I think that's the strong foundation that you need. But besides that, just being very, very professional with what we do. Like I said, we've brought a lot of coaches in to teach us the game, learning the game. The game is very young, and it's always evolving. So, always trying to stay on top of it and develop our understanding of the game, and create our own ways as well at the same time.
Your philosophy on coaching, what's like a practice like for you?
Depends. You could have different objectives in what you're trying to accomplish. It could be tactical, it could be technical, it could be mental. But I think at the end of the day, what we try to do here is create smart players. Right? Players that can think the game, are passionate about learning the game. But most importantly, they're kids, so make sure they enjoy it. You have to make sure the kids enjoy it. So our philosophy is we want to challenge the kids, but at the same time, make sure they're enjoying the process.
Now, do you have like classroom sessions?
We do. We have our youth academy and soccer stars programs. Kids come in from 18 months all the way until 14 years old.
Wow.
We have classes where kids just come in and train, get extra touches, some play outdoor as well. And then we have our select teams and FTP teams where they train as a team, and those are the teams we take to compete to regionals, nationals, and to go to international tournaments.
We talked a little bit about that with the soccer community, the elite teams. So you have select futsal teams that you travel with.
Yes. So we have
At 6 to 14 years old?
for our select teams, it's more 9 to 14, around 14.
All right. We're going to take a break and then we're going to come back with some of your players. But I think my producer told me that you have a relative that plays for the Timbers or for one of their junior teams.
Yeah, so my brother Marco.
Marco Farfan
Yeah.
plays for the Timbers,
Yes,
doesn't
he
he?
does.
And how long has he done that?
He got signed, I believe, last year.
Because I know he was very, very young when he first started. He was in the Timbers Developmental League, or
Yeah, he got signed at 17, so he was
Wow.
he was, I think, finishing or starting his senior year in high school.
all right. Who are the players that we're going to bring in now? Who are they exactly?
So we have Lauren, we have Macy, Sophie, Lainey, Hazel, Juliet, and Vivian.
Now these players, what have they accomplished?
So they, together, starting from training here, they've won regionals and nationals for USFF.
Wow.
And they won the nationals.
They won the regionals and the nationals.
And this
yeah.
is the
U.S. nationals.
U.S. national.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Jose's going to stick around with us, and
around.
Roberto, and we're going to bring some of the players from the Youth Futsal Association.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to let Roberto introduce his players.
So here we have the 2018 regional and national champions. We have Sophie, we have Hazel, we have Lainey, we have Vivian, Juliet, Lauren, and Mason.
And these girls are all how old?
They are 9 years old.
I'm 8.
Sophie's 8.
8 and already champions. That's pretty exciting.
Juliet standing beside Juliet, right? Is that Juliet? I asked her while we were on break, was it exciting winning the national championship? And what did you say to me?
It was super exciting, and when we won, everybody was like coming off the benches and cheering. Yeah.
You're all pretty excited.
It was really awesome. Like just about them. I didn't know how we beat them. It was a really hard final.
Where was these? Where was this at?
So these were held in Santa Clara, California.
Santa Clara. So you traveled a long way to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was exciting for you.
Yeah.
What did you do when the whistle blew to end the game?
Everybody like got in the middle and we like cheered, like we yelled like RCF a lot. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was really crazy. It was like almost like it took over the whole field. Yeah.
Did you do anything fun to celebrate afterwards?
We watched the 09's boys play their final.
Yeah.
Sadly, they lost. Yeah, but we had a pool party after. Yeah.
Pool party?
Yeah.
That's fun.
How do you girls like playing futsal?
We really like it. It's just like fun and yeah. It's cool.
How long have you girls are, let's see, not mostly 9 years old. How long have you been playing futsal?
Since I was like 3.
Really?
I've been playing since I was like 2.5.
2.5?
think-
Anyone start playing when they were 1?
No. Way too young. At least I found my first soccer ball when I was 1. 2 or 3 years ago, I started playing futsal. I was 2. Oh, I didn't play
All right, and tell us a little bit. You play in a league here in Portland?
Yeah.
How many teams are in your league?
We don't know. Like 8. A lot. Like about 10. I don't know. Isn't there 8? Not like
8 teams in your
yeah,
league?
8 teams.
In the Winter League, which is the most popular one, they have 550 teams the last couple of years. Obviously divided by different age and gender, but yeah, probably 8 to 10 teams per age group.
Roberto, what's the steps to get from that league to that U.S. championship? How many intermediate stops are there?
So first, we played in our local league. We had a good tournament with OYSA. I think it was January or
Yeah,
February.
we did it at the end of January
Yeah.
with us.
So that helps us prepare when we go to tournaments like regionals and nationals.
So pathway for futsal in the future will look like you participate in the league, then you play in the state cup, which is going to be called a state cup, and then you probably want to go to regionals and then nationals. So the idea is to reduce the travel unless you make it to the very end.
Well, are other states on a similar path that Oregon is on with that?
Not that many. California is great in any type of soccer. Ohio and Alaska are doing a great job, mostly because the weather forced them to as well. So there are not that many, but every year we have more and more states joining us in running leagues and cups and tournaments that will make them harder to win nationals again. So they will,
good.
yeah, which is great. Which is great.
Everything is going.
You're in on the ground floor.
We are. Every
You-
person involved in futsal, we are taking this together.
Do you envision a future where there's a futsal association in every state and you have a state tournament and regional tournaments and then a national tournament?
Yeah, I think futsal will end up replicating soccer and we'll have leagues, cups, ODP, that sort of thing. We end up having those elite teams, those elite camps all together as well, with the idea of
What's the procedure to become a certified coach?
Certified coach for
Futsal? Yeah.
So they're in the States, like I said, it's a very young sport. There's not a lot of licensing. You know, with youth soccer, there is. You know, you have your E, your D, your C, your B, your A license. It's more established. Futsal, it's still growing. We're we're still trying to figure out what's the best one. Like I said, right now what we do a lot is we bring in international coaches that, like Andres Sanz, he runs clinics for coaches in Europe. He even runs clinics for professional coaches. So some of his
He
students
run the
become
licenses.
professional coaches. So now he's coming over here, and currently we're doing in periods he's coming and giving a level 1 course for us as if they would in Spain.
And what's the future for Roberto? Are you not only going to continue to coach, will you train other coaches?
Potentially, baby steps. I think I enjoy the coaching side right now, and obviously working with players like this is always great.
Do girls like him as your coach?
Yes.
You want him to stick around?
So we couldn't. Sarah Plymel and Emily Roos are also their coaches, and unfortunately they couldn't join us here. But they played a big role in this group as well.
It's dangerous to ask players whether they like the coach or not.
I got the vibe that they all liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like the kids were all excited. They seem like they're having fun. Futsal's a fun sport.
Yeah.
Fast pace, keeps your attention.
Yeah, it's 5 players on a small court. You're always going to be engaged in the game, and we think that's the biggest benefit of the game. You're always involved. You're always getting touches. It's fun. And like I said, we want to make sure kids have fun. If you don't have fun, then you're not going to come and do it. If you have fun, you're going to come back.
Players that might want to play for you, parents that might want to get their kids to play for you. How do they do that? What's the first step to get involved in futsal?
Yeah, so like I said, we have a big academy system. We have about 500 players that come in and train with us. But besides that, sometimes we observe players there. The other way is we have evaluations. So the girls had the 2009's and now the 2010s, which is a new group coming in. They had evaluations in May for our FDP. This coming weekend, we're going to have tryouts for our select teams, which is other group of players that we take and compete as well.
All of you girls want to keep playing futsal?
Definitely.
You're going to play next year?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You like that trip? You like the ceremony at the end?
It's really fun. Yeah. I really like it too. The coaches are nice. The coaches are really
You what?
nice.
You always have to be paying attention to the game since there's so few teammates. That you always have to be like, you have to notice what your teammates are doing so you can drop back or press.
If you take your
skills to
eye
have.
off the ball for a second, it will probably most likely the ball will get past you or the player.
Great advice.
Yeah.
It's probably better futsal.
How many players on your team altogether?
I think there's
There's 10.
10?
There's
10 players? Yeah, there's
Yeah, 12.
Only 9 of us went to the.
What?
Yeah.
so there's about 10 to 12 players on the group.
All right. We want to thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
We want to thank all the girls for joining us, and congratulations
Thank
on
you.
Yeah,
winning,
good job.
Thank you.
winning the national
Very much.
championship. Jose Campos, thanks for joining us, and great explanations on soccer and futsal. And
for having me.
Roberto Farfan, congratulations on winning a national championship down in California, and good luck in the future, and success with your coaching and your teams.
No, thank you for having us, and thank you for allowing us to share our story.
It's been delightful. All right, thanks for joining us tonight. I want to thank Rose City Futsal for their facilities, and thank all of our guests tonight. My co-host, Laura Welsh.
Thank you.
I'm Dave Hall. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, girls.
Thank you.